All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another Teacup For One great movie marathon live stream. Thank you so much for joining us, all zero of you. Oh, no, wait, hold up. We got the Hyde to Disney here. Let's get this party started. Whoa. Come on. Come on. There we go. Oh, we got two people in the chat. This is so exciting. Okay, so welcome. My name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees, and it's Western Week, which is really exciting. And as per usual, we've got some wonderful guest stars today to discuss this week's film, which is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Joining us is fan favorite Mike from the Hyde to Disney.
Hey.
Hello, Michael.
Hello.
Yay! Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming for Cowboy Week. Excited to have you.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, indeed. So, as per usual, tell us a little bit about your channel for anyone watching who's not familiar, and what kind of content you put out and what we can look forward to soon.
So, yeah, I'm Mike from the Hyde Do Disney. We do Disney content, but if you keep following along and you subscribe now, we're starting to venture out into the wilderness of Central Florida. Not literally the wilderness, but we're outside of Disney. So we're trying to make the step to see some other things. So keep an eye out for some cool videos. If you didn't notice yesterday, we actually went and rode Velocicoaster. So there's a video that just came out yesterday of our trip to Velocicoaster that actually was this morning at 9 o'clock. I put it together last night after we filmed it, and definitely watch it. It's such a great roller coaster. So keep looking for all those fun videos that we're going to start doing of some new stuff.
How many dinosaurs?
How many dinosaurs? Well, there's 4. You have four Velociraptors, but
exciting. Oh. Okay, perfect. And next up, we're going to bring another fan favorite from the channel. This week, we're being joined by Chris from Orlando.
I ain't happy. I'm feeling glad. I got sunshine in a bag. Hi, I'm Chris from Orlando. I'm the ugly in this combination here.
but has the best hair.
Oh, that's the best intro. Chris, tell us about you and tell us about Orlando. Tell us about your channel.
So, I'm Chris from Orlando, and my channel is all about telling stories, behind-the-scenes stories of mostly Disney. Every now and then I do Universal. We'll see more of that in the future. For example, like how my video today wasn't really about the good and the bad and the ugly. It was actually an interview with a former bandit from the Great Movie Ride. So I have stories from them as well as some of my own personal stories as well.
Awesome.
Thrilling. So, yeah, since this is your first time joining us for a great movie marathon live stream, why don't you tell us a little bit about your relationship, history, background with the Great Movie Ride? Rest in peace.
I first rode Great Movie Ride probably about 2015. I thought it was fantastic. Like I was there pre Osborne narration, yeah, I always enjoyed it. I thought could have used a couple of updates here and there, but I always enjoyed it. I would have loved to have been one of the bandits or the gangsters in there, but alas, that was not in the cards for me.
Oh, that would have been so much fun. So, in your video, were you reading a statement from your friend, or was that your friend with a very similar voice to you?
That was me reading it. In order to keep him anonymous, I just did an accent. But like those were, for the most part, his words. So I just had to put my own spin on them.
I appreciated the accent. I appreciated the insights. And I love hearing stories about people working Great Movie Ride, because that was my dream job when I imagined if I got to work at Disney. That's what I wanted to do.
I mentioned in the video that he would often wear like an old xenomorph mask to like pop out and scare his fellow cast members. And earlier today, he posted a memory of that exact same thing happening. I was like, dang, that could have been great for it.
Oh, that's perfect. That's incredible. Well, we'll save that for 2 weeks from now when Alien Week rolls around. not looking forward to Alien Week. That movie terrifies me. Fun. So let's talk about this movie. So as we know, great movie ride featured 2 cowboy robots, which meant that for this marathon, I have to sit through 2 cowboy movies, unfortunately. So this was the first one, and it was so long. It was so long.
I was not prepared for 3 hours.
I watched it in 2 segments of an hour and hour and a half, and then an hour and a half, or however it breaks down, like hour and 20 minutes. It's
I watched it over the course of like 3 days, very, very sparingly. But was this anyone's first time watching it?
Yeah, mine.
Yeah, me too. Basically, I tried to watch
It's like those movies that like you know about, like the classic scenes, but you haven't seen. Like,
well, for sure, it's a movie that you watch and you feel like I know this.
Or Citizen Kane or whatever.
Yeah,
it's one of those movies.
The music is so iconic that you know it. Like you hear it's like wah, 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 wah. Like you're like, oh, I know where that's from. Like, yeah. And then him with a cigar or the cigar in his mouth and like looking at the screen. It was like they kept doing that over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And like that's one of the big things. And
like I said in my video, the movie is 3 hours long, and 2 of those hours is squinting.
Yeah, like. Yeah, like there was one scene where they went back like 10 times just looking at each other. It was like, it's like this. They're like,
it's the final duel, and somehow that like went down in pop culture history.
It's so good. I loved the final duel. It
that one part was really good.
The previous 3 hours were worth my time to get there.
Yeah, like the ending was good. Like it made it. There's some parts I would have taken out though. Like. The story could have been carried along. You could cut an hour out of the movie, and the story would have carried along fine. You wouldn't have missed anything.
Like I remember watching it, and it's like, okay, Angel Eyes is heading towards the cemetery. Tuco and Blondie are heading towards the cemetery. All right, let's go. Why are they getting captured by Union soldiers, and why do they have to blow up a bridge?
Yeah, it was like a total like. This is not worth your time. Like it's like a squirrel moment. Like, hold on, let's go on this total side road of story. And do something else completely.
This isn't Skyrim. You don't have to get sidetracked for side missions.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. There were so many side missions and there were so many subplots that didn't need to be there. And it just felt like after a while, like once the story started and I found out that there was gold and the buried treasure, then I was invested. But that took like 2 hours. Yeah. And before that, it was just like,
it was the 60s. They didn't know how to make movies yet.
Well, no, that's the thing. He didn't care. Sergio Leone knew. He just didn't care. He just kept saying, this should really be shorter. He was like, no, longer.
It's like every time you ask me to make it shorter, I will make it 1 minute longer.
Yeah, you say we text message and you said that the European version is an hour longer. I was like, what else could you have added in there? Is there another like sidebar story that we didn't get? Like
it's the Snyder cut.
Like a sub boss like that we didn't get to fight or something? Like
I feel like they probably just had another side mission. Like they had a bridge they had to build. Be my guess.
Extra hours.
They actually the extra hours them building the bridge, and then the next hour is them blowing it back up again.
Oh, fun story. So when they shot it, they had the bridge all set up to blow up, but then the builders union or something in Spain decided that their boss should be the one to blow it up because he helped build it because it was a real bridge, and he didn't understand that cameras had to roll, so he blew it up without it being shot.
Without them being in the shot?
No, like there was no footage shot because they thought that he thought they cued him to go, but they hadn't actually started rolling on anything.
Did someone say boom?
That's almost exactly what happened.
Like so now we're gonna refilm this all over again. There's an extra hour.
They that and they rebuilt the bridge. Like in real life, they rebuilt the bridge.
And then the second time they filmed it, the guy was like, "Sorry guys, I lit the cap on."
Yeah. Click.
Oh, see, this is more entertaining than the actual movie. So, what are the things? I want to go through this movie and assess what we thought was good, what we thought was bad, and what we thought was okay. Ugly.
Oh, not ugly. Okay.
Well, good. Okay,
yeah.
what's
so
good, what's bad, what's ugly?
What did we like about this movie? Starting with the good.
I want to start with the music because that music is iconic. Like you're still hearing references to both the main theme and Ecstasy of Old. That music that's playing while Tuco's running around the cemetery looking for the grave. You're still hearing that everywhere today. And I really wanted to start off with the music for one very important reason, and that's something that I found out literally an hour ago, and that is that they use sort of a slowed down version of Ecstasy and Gold in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
What?
Yeah, like when Frank gets killed and Rocky is like cradling Frank's dead body, it's a slowed down version of Ecstasy of Gold.
I love that.
It's just like, no, it's not. And I looked up the scene. It's like, yes, it is.
No, now that you say it, I can totally place it as being. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and I think one thing that like I loved with the soundtrack was it is so iconic. And as soon as it started, I thought, oh, I didn't know that this was from this. And I think it's sort of been used now as a joke for like pretend. For like people who are making fun or spoofing country movies, and I thought that it was going to get old and cheesy, but I was on board every time it came into play. Like the last sequence, I think my favorite thing about that, I've watched it 3 or 4 times, the 2 minutes of squinting, just so I can like hear this like the score because it's so good.
Absolutely, and that it's just really cool. And like, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like, every time they did the sting, it had a different instrument for each of the different characters. Whoa. Like Blondie's was a flute, Angel Eyes had an ocarina, and Tuco had vocals.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I did not pay attention enough. I was also highly distracted by a 4-year-old half the day, but that's okay.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah. Like, I think that's a thing that, again, now that you've said it, I can place it. Because I definitely recognized it was being orchestrated differently every time, but to have an instrument with each character, that is a stroke of Italian genius, Sergio Leone. I respect that. Nice. Mike, what was your good? What's like your number one favorite thing from the film?
I'm a big fan of the scenes, the fight scenes, the gunfire scenes. I grew up watching westerns as a kid. My dad was a big John Wayne fan, so watched a lot of them. I thought they were fun. I thought they were well placed. They don't do fight scenes like they used to now, so I kind of missed. It was kind of nice to see.
Safety measures now.
Yeah, and I also didn't realize how loud the movie is with the gunshots. Like the talking's really quiet, and also the gunshots just like skyrocket the sound. And so I think it made Josiah jump a couple times because of the gunshots. Like, but it wasn't. It's not like it's. I didn't feel like it was like gory and disgusting. It was like just good Western shooting.
It got so much more violent than I expected, though, for such an old movie.
Yeah, it was a little bit more violent, and you're like, wow, this is kind of like borderline Kill Bill kind of style, which I guess is I could see where kind of the Kill Bill theming comes into it.
Tarantino definitely got like a lot of his stuff from this.
There's some other things that I noticed as well, but we can talk about that later. That I was like, oh, that actually literally, I don't know if I should just say it now or not, but
say it.
So one thing I noticed, and this is actually reflected in I just started looking up, and actually most people have also noticed as well, is that if you look at Mandalorian, he is actually the good. Like he is good. Like if you actually listen to the way Blondie talks. The Mando actually talks in the same tone in the same way, almost like it's the same voice. Like if you dubbed them over each other, you wouldn't know who was who.
Yeah.
Like I started picking that up right when I watched. I was like, Mando is very inspired by this movie as well, and being a big Star Wars fan and Mandalorian, I really liked that concept. But then I actually went on IMDb and looked it up, and there's literally a video that kind of compares them together. I'm like, well, I confirm myself.
Yeah, no. It definitely has the Western vibes, but again, I think this is one of the
it has
watching this movie.
Well, it has the spaghetti Western vibe because spaghetti western and just like American western are, at least with the early American westerns, are two separate things. Spaghetti
Did
westerns
you
are
watch
almost
my
kind of like a
video?
satire of like the old American westerns.
Did you watch my video, Chris from Orlando?
Maybe, but I did actually do some other research.
Yo, definitely. You could totally see the differences between them. And this, like, again, watching this, it put so much into context because I'd always heard that Tarantino loved spaghetti westerns, and I didn't get why until I saw how like gritty and visceral this movie was, which was not to be expected because the Italians and the Europeans were allowed to make movies as violent as they wanted, or at the very least,
Yeah.
more violent than the Americans could. And like this, what gets me is that part when, like, with the eyes, when he like digs right up into that
Starts
area,
like pushing them in.
Yes. Ugh. I was not prepared. I wasn't braced. It wasn't a thing that I was ready for.
Yeah, and the blood makeup and everything like that, the sunburn makeup was really good
Oh,
too for the
sunburn
time.
makeup gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Oh, it was so good though. I was like, oh, this is actually they did a really good job. I've been paying attention to this stuff, so I'm like looking at his face and like there's one spot where they show the side of his head where you actually could see the line where it was peeling off, but it still looked good. But you can see where it was kind of peeling off. It's like, yeah, that was actually really good. And I there's a lot of things that I saw that I'm like I could see where it applies to the other cultural things that we have and that we have in movies now and where it comes from. So it's kind of cool to see.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And there was like, I don't know what I was going to say. I had a good point, but it fluttered away from me. I'm trying to think now for my good. So we've had the fight scenes, we've had the music. Oh, I know. I talked about this in my video. If anyone didn't watch it, I highly recommend you do, as well as everyone else's videos because good times. But in my video, I talk about how this is the only movie in the Great Movie Ride that's really uniquely visual. Like all the other Great Movie Ride movies are very much kind of like filmed theater, at least for the older ones. Alien will get there probably. But this one really takes advantage of like big wide shots, very intimate close-ups, and the dialogue is so minimal that it's the most visual film we've had thus far. In all the other movies, they were carried by words and performances, and this one was like you can watch this movie in any language and get what's going on for the most part, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
it's like a silent movie with a few words in it. It was a silent movie, but then they added words and actually did speak. So I could see that because at first in the beginning I'm like they're not really talking a whole lot. You kind of have to figure out what's going on at first because I'll be honest, the first few scenes were like, what's going on? Like I don't understand the correlation of the story. Then they actually explain it later down the road, but you know what's going on, but you don't know how it plays in yet.
Yeah, definitely some of the set pieces they had were like fantastic. Like I remember when they were doing like a wide shot over like a Union camp. It was like you could see people as far as the eye could see. It was like, hey, this is just be digital, but like you got all of this here. That did lead to some detriment a little bit because I noticed the one scene you could see a couple of telephone poles. I think they look like telephone poles.
Really?
Yeah. I can't. It was like early on.
There was one scene too where Blondie's talking to Tuco, and Tuco puts his knee up, but behind him, down in the valley, there was like a couple like they looked like they were just like white tents. They weren't like they didn't match any of the surrounding. They're like a random white tent, like a studio tent, or where they were just setting stuff up. And it looked like he put his knee up to block it, but then you could see it when he moves again that it's there.
Starbucks is in Westeros. Anything's fair game.
I think that's also a testament to just how low budget this movie was, which in a lot of ways I think works in its favor because so much stuff is just real and it's so much stuff they were able to get away with a lot because they didn't really care about safety or anything.
God, no.
Nope.
And and so like I was watching a making of documentary, and then Eli Wallach, who played Tuco, was talking about the scene where he's trying to get the train to cut the handcuffs in half, like real train, and they just said, don't let the train hit you. And then when he watched the footage back, he realized that there was like a step, and that had he raised his head a couple inches, the step would have like fully decapitated him.
Well, yeah, because in that scene, he's laying there and he's pretty close, but in the next scene, he's literally like 2 feet farther away with his arm farther out. He actually changed position. And then when he actually hits the body, and you can see that as a dummy bouncing underneath the train.
I mean, I was more just really invested in thinking, are they really going to show this body getting hit by the train? And they did. Like that
was good. It was
a movie where I just went from this is kind of boring to what am I watching? This is insane.
Yeah, I was amused by that one. That was funny.
So let's talk about the bad.
That was a lot.
Okay, why don't you start, Mike?
The one thing, and maybe it's my streaming, my TV, but the voices were so far off, like just enough to where like you could see that they were saying something else, but the whole movie was dubbed over. I think except for maybe 1 or 2 scenes. I think the scene where they're in the carriage up front, because you see it's like a screen behind them.
Yeah, there's no sync sound in this movie at all.
Yeah, it was so off. Sometimes I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. And the people are talking, but then he's already stopped talking. But then he starts talking, but hasn't started talking. And you're like, and then it changes the person talking, but the other person's still talking. And you're like, I don't know what's going on. And then there's a couple scenes where I don't know if it's what's going on, but the stuff's sticking in the camera and it moves with the camera. Like there's something like a wire or something sticking out, like moves with the bottom of the camera. It's
funny.
And then the movie's just too long. Like there's so much, like you talk about all the wide shots and like the big panoramic shots, stuff like that. They were unnecessary.
Yeah.
I like them just in I'd rather they be sparing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they use it a lot. Like it was just, and then some of the extra storyline that did the whole Confederate soldiers and the Union soldiers didn't. It was unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, this is my issue when it comes to things like that. Since I'm not an American, I have very basic knowledge of the politics surrounding the Civil War, aside from like the obvious stuff that everybody knows. But then when it comes to movies like this,
come on, Americans don't even know.
Oh, see, there you go. When it comes to movies like this, whether or not I need to know, I feel like I'm missing out on context. So I'm just always like, what am I missing? Why doesn't this make sense? Is it me or is it the movie? Who knows?
One thing I will say about the lips not always matching the voices. It's not something that I saw like all the time, but like for a couple of them, yeah, it was incredibly obvious, and I just kind of assumed that because this is a spaghetti western, they're filming in Europe, maybe this is someone who's like speaking Italian or something, and they dubbed over it later. Mm-hmm. I could be completely wrong, but that's just the assumption I was under because I never noticed it really with Clint Eastwood.
No, I remember that is the exact reason I didn't. That was the thing that turned me off of watching this movie straight through the first time, was because I was getting so confused about the inconsistent dubbing, because I just kept thinking, how come sometimes it's very clearly in sync and like I think they're speaking English, but in other points it looks like they're being dubbed. And then I found out that because the way they shot this movie was every actor just spoke in their native language.
Yeah.
Because they had no intention of having it released in one language. It was being made for multiple different markets, and then they would just have actors on hand to dub over everything. So there would be scenes like with the smaller characters where they would be speaking in probably Italian or whatever their native tongue was, depending on where they were shooting. And then Clint Eastwood would still be responding in English, and then they would just have to try their best to sync everything up, which is quite the brain scramble when you don't know that and you're trying to make sense of what you're watching.
Yeah, it's the same thing with another movie I've seen called Suspiria, which if you've never heard of Suspiria, don't watch Suspiria unless you know what you're getting yourself into.
What's Suspiria?
It's a European horror movie. It's really hard to explain. Like, there's these witches at a dance academy. It's just really hard to explain.
So it's like Hogwarts meets Glee.
With murder. lots of bloody murder.
That sounds amazing.
That's for another stream. But yeah, so I didn't have a problem with the doubling for the most part, because that's what I was kind of noticed. That's what I was thinking of. It's like these guys are probably just being dubbed over. It's fine.
It's fine, yeah. But it's like at some point you're like, I don't really know what's going on because the voices don't match the mouths. And as humans, we watch the mouth to determine what someone's actually saying. It helps us interpret what they're saying. So you're like, ooh. So then you get confused about what actually is going on. But
Yeah,
there's some other. I mean, other than that, I mean, a few little things. I mean, I wouldn't say I would say there's a lot of things that I thought was bad with it, but it's just like there's little. I guess it's all time period stuff and just the budgetary issues that they had with it, and then just the excessive time period. Like I don't know where the Civil War stuff kind of fit into it, anyways, because it doesn't feel like at that point. I think it was like the Western, like the West. I mean, they still had a lot of the cowboy Indians kind of things going on, like Western, but I feel like Civil War kind of like faded that away. So it was like, was it really necessary?
Well, it was still going on at the same time, which is weird because you think of them as being like two completely separate time periods, but it's like, no, there's overlap.
But but out in the West, though, there was very little battlefront going on with the Union and the Confederate soldiers because it wasn't really civilized territory, so they weren't battling over that. So there wasn't as much. So it was kind of like a weird placement for me if you look at Civil War history of like, was it necessary for them to be, because they're out in New Mexico based off of what they talked about, and that's really far out. There wasn't a whole lot going on out there. Past the Mississippi, not a whole lot.
So it sounds like if I even had more American history knowledge, I would have been just as confused about that part.
Yeah, I mean, you could work it in, but I feel like as a Western, like when I think of Civil War, I don't think of like a Western. So for me, it was like a weird relation. I liked the characters that were, I liked both the North and South like characters because they fit in. They were fine. I liked how the rebels are a little more rebellious and then a little bit more civil on the Union side, but generally not a whole lot.
Union guy tried to gouge his eyes out.
Yeah.
I did. That was a cool. Minus the fact that it made me uncomfortable. That was like such a good sequence. The juxtaposition between the choir or the band singing and then that, like, if the movie was more of that and less of long, drawn out, beautiful landscapes, it would be easier to watch. And I don't want to say it would be better because who am I to say it's not a good movie? It's inspired so much that we love and have seen, but it would have been easier to watch if we got to those moments sooner.
Yeah, I think the story could have carried along sooner. Like you either could have cut out some of the middle portion where they're, I don't know which one the portion you cut out. I think for me the Civil War stuff will cut out. Like I thought about like downloading the movie and then just like recutting it and then just seeing how it comes out by recutting it. And put out like a theatrical version that was like, hey, it's only an hour and a half long now, guys. I cut out a whole bunch of crap we didn't need.
The Hyde cut?
The Hyde cut, yeah.
Well, I don't know how much of the Civil War stuff you'd be able to cut out because they're searching for Confederate gold.
True.
So you can't cut like all of it out, otherwise it's just randomly there.
It's just random gold.
Yeah.
But, and not too different from like a pirate movie.
Be better with Muppets.
Oh, everything's
better with Muppets.
Oh, we should recast this with Muppets. Ooh, but just quickly, because the internet's a little sketchy, I don't want to load comments on screen because I tried that at the beginning and then everything almost died. So I just want to acknowledge people that have been commenting. I'm not ignoring you. I love you. I just want the stream to survive. But paging Mr. Morrow, if you're still watching, thank you, says, I miss the great movie ride so much. I do too. So close, near and dear to my heart. Even though I've said I understand why it had to go, and I kind of agree with it, I still miss it and would ride it in a second over Mickey and Minnie's. Even though I love Mickey and Minnie's, but I love creepy singing robots more. So there's that.
I think they could still remake a new one in a different place. I think that would be the best way to go, especially with some of the more, put it where what's the little entrance where the little Disney experience is, and you're going all the way to Toy Story Land.
Where One Man's Dream is?
Yeah, put it in there. Make it like a stage show, or make it
a stage show. Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Maybe.
I think they have a stage show like that in Paris. Something like they have some kind of stage show that's all about movies. That was somehow like it evolved out of the Great Movie Ride because I think they wanted to bring the Great Movie Ride to Disneyland Paris, but then the audiences they knew wouldn't be into that, so they did a stage show that might still be running, but was apparently quite delightful. Oh yes, and also Marku in Japan wants to know if anyone watched the original Suspiria.
Yeah, that was the one I was referring to.
Only
was
that
super
weird guy down there.
I
I've never
haven't
even heard of it.
watched the remake, but I will if it's Glee plus Harry Potter plus
And
excessive violence.
You're
apparently
making that sound too innocent. It's not.
Apparently, laggy is not a Canadian word.
No, I guess not.
Do you know what laggy? Do you know what laggy means?
It's like one of your friends or your cronies.
When you're lagging, you're
Yeah, I know.
laggy. Yeah.
I know.
I was reading the comments and I'm like, it's laggy means video's delayed. It's laggy. A British word? I'm like, it's not a Canadian word. I believe it's a British slang, according to Google. I'm like, I never knew laggy was a British slang.
Who knows? Well, Canada, we kind of get a little bit of British slang, a little bit of American slang.
You get the French slang too.
That's how we roll. It's the best of both worlds, like Miley. Yes.
I went to church and the guy, he was a greeter. His name was Patrick. He was like a thick French Canadian, and he'd come up talk to you, and he'd be like, "Huh?" Like it was English, but you didn't understand
Michael,
a word.
how are you doing today, Michael?
Yes,
Patrick.
Yeah, there you go. You put it on, turn on. Eh?
We don't really do that though.
No,
but we market it. People will buy things if it has a flag and if it has A, that's done. See, there's never any good Canadian cowboy stories.
There could be though. You have such a beautiful country that there's probably plenty of stories out there like that you could. There's a western frontier that you had because you had the whole country goes from a nice east to west stretch. So there's got to be something there.
Mm-hmm.
I want tundra cowboys. Because that's what the West is in Canada. Tundra.
I want like Mounties, like Mountie cowboys.
Mountie cow. Well, I mean, Alberta
We're
kind
gonna
of
have a duel at high noon, eh?
They do, yeah.
I feel like there's actually a show called
What are you gonna do about it?
No, it's not a boot. It's like if you want to mock us properly, it's not a boot.
I can't.
It's a boat, like a sailboat.
A boat?
You're going out in a boat.
What are you gonna do about it? I don't have a boat. Do you have a boat?
No. Yeah. Okay, let's go back.
I live in Saskatoon. I don't have any boats. It's all frozen all year round.
Saskatoon?
I don't know. I'm just making stuff up.
It's like, do they have? Well, I don't know geography well enough.
We're
landlocked. What? Okay.
My reference for Canadians is Robin Scherbatsky from How I Met Your Mother.
She's actually not too far
off. That's amazing. Let's go to the mall.
Yeah.
My reference for Canadians is Canadian Idiot by Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know that one.
You don't know that one?
No.
It's a parody of American Idiot by Green Day, but it's Weird Al.
Oh, that's hilarious. My favorite. Okay. We're getting way too off track, but whatever. There's a song called
"This Is the Ugly"
by it's true. There's a song called "The War of 1812" by the Arrogant Worms, which is all about Canada burning down the White House.
Yeah.
It's the greatest. That's my favorite. That's my favorite piece of Canadian history. Right there. So let's talk about the ugly. I don't know what that means because we talked about the good and the bad, but what would you qualify as ugly about this movie?
Well, it's kind of like redefined what we think of like Westerns, really. Because like when you think of Westerns, you probably think of something like this guy here, McCree. Lone wandering gunslinger, all that good stuff. But before that, back in the early days of American movies, when they founded Hollywood to get away from Edison and his patents, it was more of what you saw with like John Wayne or something like the Buffalo Bill shows. It's like you see, these great white men taming the wild, wild west and saving them from the savage Indian.
It was good guys.
The Wild West was not like that.
It was good guys.
It was not.
Yeah, it was good guys versus bad guys.
Yeah,
it was good versus evil. Whereas this movie's more of it's more of an everyone's for himself.
Yeah, even good is not very good in this movie.
No.
And bad wasn't really that bad. Like he had
no,
an agenda.
The bad was Angel Eyes was bad.
Shot a kid.
I feel like Tuco. Yeah, he did.
That was the kick.
I was expecting that. I think Tuco was probably the worst, but
Oh yeah,
he just
sure.
But I love
I
Tuco.
think he's like, he means well, but doesn't know how to like accept anything. I don't know how to explain it. Like he's the antagonist, like not an antagonist, but he's like he's not like a villain, but a superhero. What's the word for it? He's like an anti-hero. Like he's not a good guy or a bad guy. He's just, I'm out for myself. Anything I can do to benefit myself, I'm on my way.
Yeah, and like he's the one that gets betrayed at the beginning. Well, it's like, I'm perfectly happy with this relationship I have with you, Blondie, but you're gonna screw me over? No.
But in the end, though, you were like, you deserve that. Like when he's standing there on the cross,
he was acting out of anger because he was betrayed by Blondie. They had such a good thing going. He just wanted more money. It was one of those deals where it was like, hey, I know my worth and I'm going to fight for it. And then the employer is like, no, no, no. That's what that was.
Yeah, but then he drags him all the way across the desert and like almost kills him, and then freaks out. Then, oh my god, I actually killed him. I think he's dying. And then he starts having a panic attack and drags him to his brother's church to save him. It's such a weird.
Because he knew where the gold was at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still it was such a weird arc.
Oh yeah, like he absolutely would have left him for dead if he didn't have the information that he needed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But I think like neither of them are great. Like Blondie and Tuco, not good people. But when you put them up against Angel Eyes, I feel like he's just so bad and so evil that it makes those two seem
better by comparison.
Acceptable. Yeah.
I guess I could agree with that.
And that was part of the satire that was the spaghetti western. It was like lampooning is like, yeah, even these people you see as like the best of the best, they're still kind of bad.
Oh yeah, no. I feel like all three of them really are good, bad, and ugly.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't like though, the weird thing I didn't like was that the movie's called Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but they never introduced them in that way by saying good, bad, ugly. They did ugly, bad, good.
Yeah.
As the first scene. You're like, I get it, but then why don't we call the movie like that? I mean, I don't know.
Well, good, bad, and the ugly just rolls out the tongue better.
Yeah, but like, why didn't you roll that through the movie as good, bad, and ugly too? It's like, you're making me jump around.
Well, I think it's because they had to introduce the characters in order. It's like when you're doing a top whatever list, a top 10 list. You always start with the worst and then get progressively better. So if you're going to introduce all those three characters, like Clint Eastwood has to come last. Like the good has to come last.
Yeah, because he's the hero.
You could have done him first, though. You could have cut out that whole scene with Tuco and just started off with him shooting him off of the noose, and then say like good, and then show Tuco later bad, and then the other guy ugly. Or actually, it would have worked out that way because.
Did it end with? Because I know they did it again at the end. But
they didn't end. Nope, it was just different.
Was
it good, bad, ugly, and bad? Wasn't it?
Oh, okay, then that's wrong. I don't like that. I could be on board with it if at the beginning it went ugly, bad, good, then it ended with good, bad, ugly. It's like, okay, we got here. The promise of the film has paid off. 3 hours, not well spent, but spent. I don't regret it. I'm not going to ask for a refund. Just wouldn't buy it again.
I actually had to download AMC Plus and get like a 7-day free trial to watch the movie.
Oh, it's on Netflix in Canada. It's great.
Just going to hold up this pirate Funko for no reason.
Is that Red?
Yeah,
that is Red.
Love her. The best pirate. Nice. Good Funko. Fun. So ugly, bad, and good. So who was everyone's favorite side character or side spot that they went? For me, I'd have to say Tuco's brother in the mission was a high point for me. Mostly just because of that scene with Tuco and his brother. I thought that was a little breath of humanity that I needed in this movie. That was much appreciated.
Yeah. I really liked that big Union general or whatever, the guy that gets run over by the train, because he was scary. He was like, okay. It's like, yeah, it's not often you see a minion be this legitimate of a threat, gouging people's eyes out. But
he was a big dude too. He wasn't everyone else was on average of them. Everyone else was generally the same size. He was a big dude.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Did you ever see Spartacus?
I haven't. No.
Is there an equally large,
character? in the beginning, the first beginning episodes, like the best friend of Spartacus is this big, huge dude who's kind of the same. He has the same gruffness and the kind of the same voice, and like he's kind of just a big, giant turd. Like he's such a jerk. It's so good. And then but that's what he reminded me of. I was like, that's yeah. But you should watch Spartacus. It's a great series. If you like blood and gore,
the series.
Oh, series. I thought you meant the movie.
I did too.
No,
not
the movie.
I haven't seen either, so my answer still stands.
Same.
Oh, you should watch the series. Watch the TV series. The movie's very hard to watch. I've seen it because I have it, but it's hard to watch.
Or like
it's another slow rolling movie. It's about 3 hours long of just come on, get to the point, guys.
We're here for the Eye of Spartacus. Come on.
Yeah, there's no 300 kick in this one, but
yeah. Well, I mean, it's Kubrick. Kubrick movies, in my experience, are kind of like this. Like, that's what my experience was watching 2001. It was a lot of, why is this so long? What is happening? Why is there a space baby?
Do you think there's a cultural issue with the fact that we don't have the attention span to watch movies like that anymore?
I think that's a part of it.
Because I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I'm a mid '80s kid, but I still can't watch movies that are that long. I'm like, oh my gosh, come on! Like, I don't have the attention span anymore to watch.
I don't know about that because I think we all sat put pretty well during Endgame.
True.
Yeah, but how was Endgame 2 hours and 41 minutes? But the action was so much better though. The story carried along. But like Kong Skull Island was like, it's a modern movie. It was like 3 hours long, and you're like, the first 2 hours is them just getting to the island, and then the last hours them actually seeing Kong and bringing him back to the
Endgame's 3 hours.
Yeah, I think it has to do with. First off, I think our attention spans are definitely shorter right now than they were before. Also, because back in the day, movies weren't as accessible as they are now. So if you were going to a theater, you were committed to watching the entire thing, and like that was probably the best thing you were doing that day. So I think people would be more forgiving of a longer movie because like it's a big deal as opposed to just sitting at home and being able to switch off whatever you're watching. So there's that. Plus,
there's also the fact that I think at least some of the older movies, like I'm 90% sure at least Gone with the Wind had it. Some of these older movies had intermissions, like a play.
Yeah. Sound of Music.
Please insert disc 2 of 4.
Oh, being Angela Leclerc made a very good point.
It's Elseworld, but on her new channel, which everyone should subscribe to, because her first video is an epic half hour of her making Star Wars drinks. And if we're talking about attention spans and keep staying engaged, like the half hour for me flew by. So subscribe to Being a John Leclerc. I would put the thing on the screen, but my computer will crash, so I'm not going to. But she makes a valid point. Endgame was an easy 3 hours because we went into it invested.
That is true. We have like about 10 years worth of stuff there.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole thing. It's if your movie's going to be that long, first off, it's totally on the choice of the person making it. Like Sergio Leone was just making this movie because he had full control, as I understand it, for the most part. So since it was being shot in Italy with next to no money, I'm not sure where the money came from, but I feel like he must have had some kind of producer power. Yeah, in fact, that's the one. It's a true story. It's a documentary. But he didn't have studios and people saying your movie can't be this. So the fact that is just a reflection of a filmmaker making the movie he wanted to. And then over time, it earned the reputation and had the influence or the impact to justify people sitting through it now, like 40, 50, whatever years later.
I remember watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I can't remember the main character's name. Leonardo DiCaprio's character at one point was like, I don't want to do spaghetti westerns. I don't want to do it because it was like seen like beneath him, but like. So
was he saying I don't want to do spaghetti westerns because they're 3 hours long in the middle of a 3 hour long movie? Because that would have been very meta. I'd be on board with that. Fun.
I was just reading. Hold on, where'd it go? I was just reading
focused.
I was literally just reading why they do the good, the bad, and ugly when they show it in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It says in the theatrical trailer, Angel. Oh, hold on. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I
in the
noticed
theatrical
this.
trailer, Angelize is the ugly and Tuco is the bad, which is
Yes.
the reverse of their designations in the actual movie. This is because the Italian title translated into English is actually good, the ugly, and the bad, but not good, bad, and ugly. And the Italian trailer had ugly and the bad in that order. When the trailer was transferred to English, ugly and the bad were not reversed to coincide with the altered title, causing incorrect designations.
Which is weird because Angel Eyes is quite handsome.
Well, I thought it was weird that Tuco was being classified as the ugly, because just like thematically, I feel like Blondie and Tuco are meant to balance each other. So like they should be the good and bad, and then you have that third party that's not like convenient to either of them, which would be Angel Eyes, who is the ugly. So like to me, that's what makes the most logical sense. But I feel like they just came up with a good title, and we're like, we know Clint Eastwood is the good. Just label the others however you will.
Feel bad for Tuco's actor. It's like spent the rest of his life, and his most famous role is the ugly.
I think he went on. He did a lot. I don't remember what, but the guy had a very established career.
Yeah,
As the ugly.
as the ugly.
As the ugly.
You can't be the ugly.
Well, I'm fine with being immortalized as the ugly. If I get to be Tuco, that'd be fine. And he had so many good
Hey,
one-liners.
I called the ugly at the
Shoot.
beginning of this stream.
You claimed that.
So that leaves you two battling out on who's the good and the bad is.
Who's the good and the bad? Ooh, tell us in the comments. Vote. I can't put it on screen, but I'll see it. Yes, the votes are now open. There we are. Yeah. So, I guess out of the three, who was everyone's favorite? The good, the bad, or the ugly? Like, I'm Team Tuco all the way. I could watch multiple movies with Tuco. He was my favorite.
Yeah, I like Tuco a lot. I think he had a lot more to offer. Like he had a lot more to. I don't think he really had much to lose. That's why he made more risks.
Mm-hmm. I am also Team Tuco. I think of the three, he is definitely the most interesting from a character standpoint. Because like with the other two, you always kind of knew where they stood, but Tuco kind of being like that wild card of being willing to turn on anyone at the drop of a hat. Made him more interesting for me.
He also had a lot more dialogue than anyone else too, so you kind of had a lot more to relate to because he actually built more of a character than the other two.
Yeah, for sure. And I can't like knowing that this is part of a trilogy, which was news to me after watching it. I can't imagine a movie with Clint Eastwood's character without a Tuco-like character. Like I need someone keeping me interested the whole time around.
I was thinking about Gran Torino, which is the last one I saw with him in it, which I don't think he had anybody like that. Like it's a great movie, but
well, I think what Matt was referring to is the whole Dollars trilogy that started with a handful of dollars, a few more dollars, and then for some reason ended on Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Had nothing to do with dollars in the title.
They really messed that up.
Yeah, but The Man with No Name, I don't even think The Man with No Name was supposed to be like all the same character. They just kind of retconned it to all be the same character.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was wondering because I know Angel Eye, what's his name, Lee Van Cleef, is in one of the other Dollar Trilogy movies, and I didn't do enough research to see if it's supposed to be in canon and the same character because I feel like they met for the first time in this film. Like, what's the deal?
I don't think Angel Eyes was the same character, but Clint Eastwood, Man with No Name, is definitely the same character.
According to the notes here, that some of the cool facts, Clint Eastwood wore the same poncho through all three Man with No Name movies without replacement or cleaning.
Probably smelled great.
Oh, probably smelled wonderful.
Yeah.
That's why it's all the same character. It's just the same poncho.
Yeah, you put the
And
poncho on and
squinting.
you become the character, like you embodiment of the character.
Like
Yeah,
you're
and I
literally
think-
becoming because like with all that grime, it's sticking to your skin.
This movie I felt so dirty just watching it. Like, yeah, there's so much dirt, so much, yeah. I didn't envy them.
There's no dialogue for the first 10 and a half minutes of the movie.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on? I actually turned my volume up and down a couple times too. Like,
Where's the sound?
Hmm.
Where's the sound?
Where's the kaboom? They're supposed
Are
to be
we in
there,
favor
sound
then?
kaboom.
Do we prefer the spaghetti western style up against the Americanized, like clean westerns, as I would call them? Like, what's everyone's preference there?
you mean like the champ? I kind of like champion style westerns, like they were heroes, like a hero western.
Yeah, because those hero westerns, they were being driven by, well, first off, a code that dictated everything in Hollywood at that time, where good had to be good, bad had to be bad, bad had to be punished, whatever. Just playing into also, I think, an idealism. Like, if it's an American filmmaker making a movie about the American frontier and like the foundation of the country, I feel like there's a little bit of a bias there as well, in addition to the code meaning everything had to be squeaky clean. So I think that's why like those Western movies are so almost like fantasy-esque.
Well, with like those movies, they were definitely imitating the Buffalo Bill show. Like all those aspects.
I only
Yeah.
know how to get your gun. I don't have much context otherwise.
There's a level of like wholesomeness that they have to provide in order for it to be a legitimate movie. I think if they didn't make those type of movies, they wouldn't have been as successful because people didn't want to watch that kind of stuff. So they had to go more wholesome and make it more of like a hero versus a bad guy. Like it's so weird to explain, but that culture, the culture of America at that time, would have watched a movie like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly based off of that time because it's just not appropriate for people to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and definitely with like those earlier ones, because they were imitating the Buffalo Bill shows, it was definitely more of making sure that the Cowboys always came out on top, kind of thing. And I think I even read like when the Good and the Bad and the Ugly came out, like there was a bunch of pearl clutching going on there.
Oh, it absolutely was.
Yeah. It was only when looking back later that they realized what an important piece of cinema it is.
Mm-hmm. Because, and also, well, for the Americans, because the movie wasn't really made for Americans. It was made because Europeans just loved Western films and loved that whole culture. And so Sergio and the other Italian filmmakers, they had to make movies that I think their audiences thought were being imported from America for them, even though it was just being made for them, because that movie would never have been allowed to have been made in America. But the pearl clutching, I'm guessing, was also because Eastwood had his reputation from Rawhide as being one of the squeaky clean Buffalo Bill style cowboys. Then all of a sudden he was like that.
Gritty.
Yeah.
It's the gritty rebrew of Rawhide.
Hannah Montana all of a sudden doing, well, did she have a scandal moment?
She had a bunch of scandal moments.
There you go.
We'll go with the Robin Thicke thing.
What was the
Oh God. Ugh.
Oh, that's when he was
Wacky Wave Inflatable Arm 2 Man. Wacky Wave Inflatable Arm 2 Man. Matt's like Googling it now. Like, you don't Google it.
It's not safe for work.
Okay, never mind. I'll look at it. I'll find it after. After. Okay, so then going back to the question, what do you prefer? Do you like the squeaky clean Buffalo Bill Cowboys, or do you prefer the gritty Sergio Leone, Quentin Tarantino Cowboys? What's your favorite cowboy?
I liked the style of movie a lot. Like it's the action. The action is like you're not playing a good versus bad. It's just this is the way it was, and people are ruthless and out for themselves, and so it just portrays real life better. I like John Wayne movies and the wholesomeness that you get from it, but it just seems like you said at the beginning, it feels like a stage production versus an actual movie. So it's like everything's really fake. Like they ride in and there's like fake trees and I don't know. I like this a lot. And I have watched other Westerns and big movie that I like is actually Hidalgo.
Don't know Hidalgo.
With Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's kind of like a Western style movie, but going to like Africa and playing Western, which is kind of cool, or Egypt.
Ooh, interesting.
True Grit.
True Grit was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of modern Westerns that kind of, I feel like, play this role really well, and I think this is a basis for it. versus a John Wayne style Western movie.
Yeah, the John Wayne style has definitely gone out of fashion in the wake of the spaghetti westerns coming forth. Because, again, stuff like this is what you think of. You think of the wandering gunslinger. You don't think of the upstanding cowboy pilgrim kind of thing. And that's what's persisted since Good and the Bad and the Ugly has come out. You have your True Grits. You have your Django Unchained kind of thing, which I really like.
That was a weird. The Django, Unchained.
The only other and like Mandalorian. That's a spaghetti western kind of thing.
You can even go as far as The Walking Dead. Like, look at the character arcs and the portrayals of all the characters there, because no one's really good.
Yeah,
everyone's out for themselves.
The closest I could think, at least modern day westerns, coming close to the John Wayne style, is Rango. For you chameleon lovers out there.
Oh gosh. Oh, it was such a hard movie to watch.
Actually,
Or
Wild
West with Will Smith.
Yes, because when I think of John Wayne westerns, I think of giant spider robots and rap songs.
But it was so wholesome though. It was like a polite alien western movie.
Did you ever see Cowboys and Aliens?
Cowboys and Aliens was actually really good. With
oh wow, I forgot about that movie.
With what's his name? 007. Daniel.
Yeah. And Harrison Ford was in that too. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Oh, what westerns have become. And I think that's another cool thing about westerns, is that they seem to transcend the time period, because I know a lot of people compare Kurosawa's movies to westerns because there's a lot of direct influence. I think kind of going in both directions, and I need to do a full Kurosawa marathon, but I think there's something bigger than just the whole time period and the cowboys and everything. I think westerns are so appealing because of their whole the stories about people exploring territory and then relationships being tested through that. I think that's something that's really cool to examine and to look at.
It's a story of one man versus the world versus evil. And like we've been saying, we got the Kurosawa movies, we got Mandalorian in space. So
you got Firefly.
Firefly, that's another good shout. So you have all these.
I don't like it, but yeah.
You have all these different things that are westerns, despite not being in the old West.
Yeah, it's modern. It's a modern interpretation of Western style and culture.
Yeah. So then, how would you describe
what that frontier
culture is, or what that how would you describe what that genre is when it's moved out of the actual time period? Because, like we said, it's Mandalorian, it's Kurosawa, it's even Bug's Life, kind of.
Yeah, because you have like the bullies and stuff. Yeah, the grasshoppers.
Yeah, apparently, Bug's Life is actually Seventh Samurai / Magnificent Seven, 2 movies I've also not seen. But I've seen Bug's Life, and I've been told they're the same.
Interesting. I would have to watch them. I don't know what kind of you call a Western. I just think it's it's that new frontier, like exploring. It's exploration. I mean, that's what brought about a lot of Western things that happen in real life, is just the exploration of it and the lack of civilization and policing and stuff like that. And you have people being vigilantes and then people taking the law into their own hands.
Well, if we're going with that kind of definition,
Fast and Furious,
Batman.
Batman, yeah.
I was thinking Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
Star Wars a bit, yeah. So that might be a little bit too broad, but it's definitely a one man versus evil, wandering town to town, setting things right kind of thing.
Well, you can't tell me Han Solo was not a space cowboy.
See you later, space cowboy.
Han Solo's a space cowboy, absolutely.
Han Solo's a space cowboy. And
some people call me the space cowboy.
There you go. I just think Westerns led to a lot of other genres that we don't actually think about, because you'd have to just trace them back by thinking about the movies that they brought upon and what the directors and writers were influenced by to
You have
make
to
a
break it
decision.
down to its bare
Its
parts,
core.
and that makes sense because westerns were some of the first movies.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they were saying "suck at us," and you can't patent us when we're out in California.
Yeah, and there was nothing built out there, so all you had was the countryside to film in. So you might as well use it to your advantage.
It's like we're already in the West, so might as well make a western.
It's in a movie. Yeah, I was shocked actually reading the Wikipedia page for westerns at how many subcategories there are of different types of westerns, and which like that just speaks to how broad the themes are, and like that whole question of like what actually is a western. Because yeah, there's like the spaghetti westerns, the classical westerns. There were others I didn't pay attention because it overwhelmed me, but yeah, I think space western is another great one because it's this whole, like Mike said, this whole idea of exploration in new territory that I think fascinates people. Because right now, our world is so explored right now. We know where everything is.
No, we don't.
Well,
only what 15% of the ocean's floor has been explored.
I still
There's a
don't even know
whole new
where my keys
frontier.
are at.
Yeah. You know those little things you can whistle and it chimes back at you?
oh, I don't want that.
Well, I did, but I lost that too.
Yeah. You need those little tiles. Those tiles you can GPS it.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, why are we getting an underwater western? That should be next.
Is that just okay?
3,000
I don't
Leagues
know
Under
if it's
the
been
Sea.
confirmed yet, but I think that's Westworld. Because that's I saw like a theory that is like the actual park of Westworld is underwater.
What?
Yeah,
I've only seen season 1, so
I haven't seen any of it, so
they're robots and they're cowboys. It's great.
yeah,
it's good. I should watch it then.
Yeah, I mean it's
all
almost
the
as hard to
details, but I
follow
saw a
as this
theory
movie
that
was.
was like all underwater.
I'm trying to think of underwater. Well, you had what was
Well,
that?
we want to get bare bones about it.
What was that TV show? Sequest?
There was a Ryan.
Sequest with the
Ryan
the Sequest with the they were a submarine. They had a dolphin that they had a thing on it. And they could talk to them, and they did all these adventures under the sea. No,
I would, if I had known about that show. Trust me, I would have it on DVD.
I watched it on TV like every episode that came out when I was a kid. Sequest DSV.
Oh, hold on, quick message. Thank you for watching, Mark. Mark's saying it's been. Oh, I think he's British. Mark's. It's been swell, but I got to check out my hotel now, so I'm about to go. Stay excellent. Thank you, Mark.
But he's in Japan though, right?
He is in Japan, but
I'm
he's
so
he
jealous.
was my roommate when I worked on a cruise ship, so I know for a fact he's British, and he doesn't like when I impersonate his accent. So that's why I just did it.
Okay.
Good night, Mike. Oh wait, that's Australian.
No,
Damn.
that's also
Let me show you.
Chip. Spotted
Pip and all that.
I love English people. Most of the TV shows I watch are either English or they're Australian. So,
Doctor Who.
oh, I love Doctor Who.
I mean,
I'm
an
talking
Australian accent is just spicy English.
Yeah, not wrong.
Spicy.
Okay.
But yeah, it's Sequest DSV.
And you're telling me that this is kind of like a Western but underwater, or what's?
Well, it's just an underwater. So it's literally from 93 to 96. So I don't know when you were born, but
95. So.
Yeah, so his year is almost over by the time you were
95.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, I feel
so
old.
young. I know. You're so old.
I was born in 84. I just turned 37.
Look at you, 11 years older than young spring chicken me. Look at that.
I turned 29 in 2 weeks.
Happy birthday, cowboy.
But yeah, I would say it's a Western, but it's like they're just under the sea and it's a lot of like ecological stuff, try to save the ocean.
That sounds noble.
Aquaman.
That sounds Donna Noble. Ugh. Can't even.
Has left the
I
library.
watched like 5 seconds of Aquaman and couldn't do it. Too much CGI. I hate CGI.
Yeah, I think that's what's ruining movies in general is they don't even go to like out into the. They don't even go out to the world anymore. They just do it in giant green room.
I know. And if it's artistic, if it's artful, like Mary Poppins, where none of that was real, but it looks beautiful because it's stylized, I can get on board. But if it's just a shortcut because you don't want to shoot the real thing, then no.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did the Jungle Book was filmed with the one kid. He was the only human in the whole entire movie, and the whole entire thing was filmed inside a green screen studio. There was no outside work at all. The whole entire movie.
Yeah,
I don't
Jungle
think
Book was done.
it's a good idea to put a kid in the same room as a bear and a panther.
Well,
But that's just me.
But they didn't
It
go
might be a
outside.
controversial check.
I'd want to see who would win that fight.
But Mowgli was a better movie than one on Netflix.
One with Benedict Cumberbatch?
No.
Yes,
maybe.
He
was the voices, wasn't he? Yeah.
I think he's Shere Khan. He's one of them. Fun. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So I asked this question last week when we were talking about gangsters, mobsters, and all those fun movies. I'm going to ask it again this week. What do you think the appeal is with Western movies? Like with the monster movies, we were talking about how watching them is kind of like, I don't know, it's like living vicariously through people doing things that you know are wrong, but like it's playing up the lifestyle as being this beautiful, glamorous thing, and it's things that you would never do, but it's like, this is the lifestyle. Even though you can't do it, you can watch people do it. Do we think there's an equivalent with Westerns?
Yeah.
That fascinates us?
Absolutely. Well, think about it. I mean, socially, we're taught and shown to behave and live like civilized people, but when you have a Western where they're on an adventure outside of what normal civilization is, and they're able to push the boundaries of what's socially acceptable, and certain things that are socially acceptable out there are not socially acceptable in society, and people make really bad or ugly or good decisions, whatever you want to look at it. People love that because it allows them an escape for reality to be invested in something that could possibly be inappropriate in normal society.
I think also just going back to that story of one man taming this wild and unpredictable world that's out there that has that appeal of having like someone to really cheer for and all that, and like this different world, like Mike was saying, this different world that we'd be used to, even if the Wild West that we are presented in movies and shows and stuff wasn't actually that. It's just, they're just good stories to have.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Yeah, I fully agree. I think the main thing that appeals for me is going back to what Mike said about exploration, because I think there's so much appeal in that concept that's almost totally foreign, at least to me. And I think a lot of contemporary folks now, of just being in a space that has not been settled necessarily, like just having landscape, and you can go anywhere because there's nothing. It's just you and the environment.
Well, think about it this way. Look at what's happening with you up there in Canada. You guys are on lockdown again, or I don't know how many lockdowns you guys had, and now you're confined, and then you see things going on the outside, and you're like, why can't I do that? And then you get obviously movies and stuff like that. You're seeing other people like us going to Disney and you can't, and you're like, that's not fair. Like, things like that. Like, that's what people like to see, is that they're locked into society, and then they can watch a movie that allows them to escape that reality and be an alter ego, whether they live it out. They're never going to live it out in the real life. Maybe a few people do, but
right. No, it's just like you're right. It makes you want to just go out into the big open landscape and just yell about how you want adventure in the great wide somewhere, and you want it more than you can tell.
And that's the same reason why Star Wars is so successful, because it's like they took a Western and left the planet. Like they just jumped on a spaceship and billions of miles away. And I could actually see Star Wars as considering it in a Western style of movie.
Well, Solo's basically a Western.
Solo was awful though.
Solo was incredible. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's awful. I couldn't watch it.
Solo was so good. Oh, why? Because
I'm actually going to agree with Mike on this one for once.
The guy who played Solo was not good Solo.
Ajana Claire, are you still there? Back me up.
It didn't. It could have been better, but they didn't. Like, and then you added in what's his name? I can't even think of the actor's name.
Donald Glover?
No.
Although he is the best part of that movie.
I mean, but he made a better Lando than the guy playing Han Solo played Han Solo.
No, but when they came together, they were both so good.
I didn't like it. I've only watched it once, and I'm like, and I had watched it in like a couple different sections, and I'm like, no.
And then Mother of Dragons, she was great.
I don't know. I feel like
Start small.
it just tried too hard.
But that's
Like,
not going anywhere now, is it?
it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to play. It's hard to. It's not anybody's fault. It's hard for me to watch a movie like that when Han Solo, Harrison Ford was such an iconic actor. You can't put somebody else in there and expect him to fill in those shoes.
Oh no, of course not.
You can write the best story you want, but it's not going to be the same.
I kind of gave up on it after
Peter Mayhew didn't even play Chewbacca because he's like, I'll never do Chewbacca without Han Solo. So, like, for me as a Peter Mayhew fan and a Chewbacca fan, I was like, I can't watch this either because the two of my favorite people are not in the movie and they're being betrayed by some imposters.
I kind of gave up on the movie after the whole, what's your last name? I don't have a last name. Solo. So that was so dumb to get that name.
I liked it.
I will bat for most things Star Wars, but it's like that one is like, nah, I'm good.
Oh, I love Solo. Okay, that'll be the next stream.
There's another guy who actually did he did a Robin Williams impersonations, and he did his own solo movie on YouTube, and he's so much better at Han Solo. Jamie Costa.
And like it's a one-man solo movie that's just this guy?
I think so. Let me look it up real quick.
Interesting. Fun. Okay, well, whilst you look that up, I'm going to introduce our game for the evening.
Oh no, game. Oh no.
Yes, game. Oh yeah, I forgot to warn you. Get something to write with.
Oh crap.
Good luck. Oh, we got Mary Jo from Rolling to Orlando. Hello, Mary Jo. Thank you for joining us. You made it just in time for the game. Mike, do you have your pen and paper?
Hold on.
Okay. Okay, I'm really excited about this game, mostly because there's a trick question I'm like really, really happy with.
I'm gonna do awful because I just watched the movie and I didn't do any research to the movie, so like I have no idea.
Oh no, I have faith in you.
I'll just cheat and I gotta find a pen.
So, because Mary Jo wants to know who won Disney Dogs versus Cats. Okay.
Yeah, I saw someone else like post a video recently. It's like it's still going on.
Yeah, so Seth recently posted a video, and I made the decision that it's going to keep going until the momentum dies down. Rather, it's going to keep going until the cats are in the lead. So if there are any cat people watching, maybe that's unethical, but I don't care. So if there are any,
he just admitted it on camera as if I didn't have enough of the receipts.
Or you know what? No. It'll either go until the cats win or until the end of the calendar year. If the dogs can make it until the end of the calendar year, then I'll concede and be like, okay, dogs have won. But the cats are off by 3 points. If I can get one cat person to do this tag, it's done and the cats win. Because the most valuable pet is like by a landslide. It's already been claimed. And it's a dog. So this competition needs to end with the cats winning overall and a dog character being awarded favorite pet.
Toby,
thank you, Mary Jo.
Are you better than a dog? Are you better?
Mary Jo says no, dogs win.
Are you better?
So, any cat people out there, please do it. Please do
Says vote for me. I'm a kitty.
Kitty.
Became liquid.
Okay, so the basis for this game, for today's game, as we know, the Great Movie Ride featured the two most famous cowboys in cinema history, John Wayne and Clint Eastwood. Two very different types of cowboys, one representing the gritty spaghetti Western, one representing the classical fantastical Western, like the Disney Frontier version of Western. So I'm going to name a movie, and you have to tell me if it's a John Wayne movie or a Clint Eastwood movie.
All right. Question. John Wayne and Clint Eastwood movies on.
Yeah.
Question.
Yes.
Are any of these going to be both or neither? Because you said there was a trick question. It's like, I'm getting ahead of you.
I don't think they did any movies together.
I'm choosing not to answer. Although I will confirm they never made a movie together.
Okay.
Yeah, they never.
Yep. And so, as per usual, 1 point per answer that is correct. At the end, after I have 10, I think I have 10. After the 10 questions, then we will have the bonus round where you can choose how many of your points you want to wager for the final question.
Oh no, Final Jeopardy!
Yep. There we go. All right. So, starting off, The Alamo. John Wayne or Clint Eastwood? The Alamo. Okay. Got 1 vote for John Wayne. Oh, I should probably keep score.
Yeah. You can't change it now.
We got Wayne. You're both right. It's John Wayne.
Yeah,
I've seen that
Pilgrim.
movie.
I wish I had more info for you, but I don't. So, yay. Next, Hondo.
Hondo.
Yep. Got 1 for Clint Eastwood. Eastwood, and you're both wrong. That is John Wayne as well.
I don't. Oh
Wouldn't it
yeah,
be funny if the trick question was just that these are all John Wayne movies
yeah. They're all.
during the Clint Eastwood movie week. That'd be hilarious. Not giving anything away. Next, Pale Rider. Pale Rider.
Which one of them is paler? It's like, who avoids the sun more?
Okay, Mike says Eastwood. Mary Jo says Eastwood. Chris says Eastwood. You are all correct. That is a Clint Eastwood movie.
I've seen how he burns in the sun.
Wow, he's like a crispy potato chip at the end too. Like
Oh,
you can feel. He's
so
like,
hard to
oh,
watch. It was so hard to look
I like
at.
to eat my own skin. Oh,
Crunch.
No, not that movie. Next, Space Cowboys. It's a real movie.
I'm sure.
One of them is in it. John Wayne. Chris from Orlando coming in the lead. It is a It is a Clint Eastwood movie.
I don't
It's
think.
like, I don't think Wayne was around.
I don't think
enough for
Clint Eastwood would do
sci-fi
that
to
kind
get
of
off
movie.
the ground.
Yeah, exactly. No, actually, Clint Eastwood directed it. It's from the early 2000s,
Oh,
and it's a very serious. Like, it's not nearly as much fun as it sounds. It's kind of like an Apollo 11 type deal where all of them are like going to space and being astronauts with lives.
funny.
There's drama. Yeah. Yeah. Next, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Oh, and Mary Jo Eastwood. I think Mary Jo's vote for Eastwood was for the last one, in which case you got the point, Mary Jo. You got Wayne, Clint Eastwood. That one was John Wayne. I thought you said you loved Eastwood, or you said you loved John Wayne movies.
I haven't. I watched them as a kid. I don't remember the names.
Oh,
The Alamo was the only one that I remember watching.
I had such high hope for you.
I didn't have any high. I wouldn't have any high hopes for me at all.
Great movie. That's what Mary Jo has to say. Wayne. I didn't realize Mary Jo was such a Western fan. I love this. More people should play along in the chat. It makes it so much fun. Okay,
Yeah.
Next. Fistful of Dollars. Eastwood. You both get the point. It is Eastwood.
Yeah, that's the first one of the Dollars trilogy. That one was easy.
Yeah, I had to throw some easy ones in there.
Yeah. It's like,
Okay.
is this the trick question? It has to be, right?
The trick question, it's a very dirty one, I will say. We'll get there. Next, Paint Your Wagon.
Paint Your Wagon?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Both say John Wayne. You're both wrong. It is Clint Eastwood. And if you remember, it is parodied in The Simpsons. When they come back from the video store, they're like, we got a Western with Clint Eastwood. It's called Paint Your Wagon. And it turns out to be a musical. And the song is Gonna Paint Your Wagon. Gonna paint it fine. Gonna use an Orbos paint because the wagon's pine. Gonna paint it. And I always
It's like,
thought,
wait. It's like,
I
oh,
thought
that's
it
a
was just
funny
a
made
Simpsons
up
parody.
movie by The Simpsons.
no, but it's a real movie. It's
I
an
get
actual,
that.
it's an actual movie musical starring Clint Eastwood. I haven't seen it, but it exists. Although apparently the Simpsons song isn't an actual musical number in the movie, so I've lost interest.
Oh.
It is quite the bop, as the kids say. Next, Red River. You're both right. It is John Wayne. And I'm just going to throw this out there. If at any point you feel like it's a movie that doesn't star either of them, you can put the person or people that you think it might star.
So what he's saying is the next question is not going to start either of them.
Oh, who knows? We'll see. Stagecoach. I don't see what Mike write.
Exactly.
Okay, you don't think I did them. You're both wrong. It was John Wayne.
I don't know.
Show what I got on that one.
And also, me giving you the hint at that point, that might have also been part of the manipulation. Who knows?
You cheeky bastard.
Yep, that's me. Next, Unforgiven.
Unforgiven?
Unforgiven.
Oh, I actually know this one.
Like, have you actually seen this one?
No, it's a wrestling thing.
Oh, okay. Well, you're right. It's Clint Eastwood. It's also the movie that they made me watch during my film degree, the first degree I have. They made us watch that in film school multiple times every year. It was every professor's go-to movie for reasons I'll never understand. I've seen Unforgiven more times than I am proud of, and I don't think it's a great movie.
And
The
those teachers
reason
are
I knew it
unforgiven.
was Eastwood was
Yes.
because WWE used to have a pay-per-view called Unforgiven, and one of the years for the promotional poster, they just ripped off the poster from Unforgiven.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'm a fan of that. Okay, and actually, Unforgiven is both directed by and starring Clint Eastwood, because that's when he became a director.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay, so now for the points that you have to wager for the final Jeopardy round. Mike, you have 5. Chris, you have 7. How many would you like to wager?
All the points.
Oh, okay.
3.
3, okay.
Yeah, so he knows if he wins, he tell you.
Yeah.
Should have got a 4.
Smart. Okay.
I say I would have if I was good at math.
Well, you're
Okay.
rephrasing the
No,
question.
the last question should be Jersey Boys.
I considered that, actually. Okay.
For those of you who don't know, Eastwood directed the Jersey Boys movie.
And it was too good, which is why it wasn't that good. Because he didn't lean into the camp as much as he should have for it to function properly. Instead, it's just kind of a boring biopic with a really great Bollywood ending. Like, if the whole movie had that Bollywood ending, quality would have been so like as good as the stage show. Oh, one night. Okay, so for this, same thing. John Wayne or Clint Eastwood. And if you don't think it's either of them, you have to tell me who it is to get the points.
Oh no.
Here we go. How the West was fun. How the West
was fun?
was fun.
It's a spoof.
Or is it? Oh God! Like,
and it may be a set of people. It may be twins.
okay, at this point, I think he's just trying to throw us off. Unless that is a hint. Wait, I'm going to write something very stupid here. I might be falling into your trap, in which case, damn you, because this definitely sounds like something they would do. God damn it, Matt, if you made me fall into your trap.
You're both right. It's
Yay.
and everyone in the did you get that of your own accord, or is it because Amanda commented?
No, I got it. I was like,
I
oh,
got it off my
and
own
then you said the
accord.
twins, and I'm like, oh, I know this movie. My sister watched. Was all an Olsen's fan, so
Yeah, and Roland to Orlando got it as well. Yes, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen in How the West Was Fun.
I was literally like, I know this movie. Like, I've heard this title.
It's like it's like even if this is wrong, it would still be an hilarious answer.
Oh,
If the good, the bad, and the ugly never won an Oscar, neither should Holiday in the Sun.
should have won an Oscar. Well, I don't know Holiday in the Sun.
Neither does anyone else.
Oh, that's the Mary-Kate and Ashley movie, right?
Exactly. Neither does anyone else.
Yes, it came right before or after Billboard Dad. It was in the same period. That time period when they were playing characters that were twins but not Mary-Kate and Ashley, where they were like Riley and Cecil or something.
So, Matt, you had that video?
Apparently I did. according
time
to
in the
mom.
'90s when
I had-
Mary Kay and
no,
Olsen had like
he
20
was
movies.
he was a fangirl for sure.
Oh, I love the Olsen twins. But no, I did not have How the West Was Fun. I had Mystery of the Something Something. It was also cowboy themed. It was when Mary Kate and Ashley had their detective series. And so they went to find out about oil in a small town.
Wait, so hang on. The Olsen twins had 3 different Western movies.
Yeah, that sounds right.
They had a
Wait,
lot
just
of
look that
movies, like straight to TV movies.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
God, I love the '90s.
Yeah. Elizabeth Olsen makes a cameo in a couple of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They went to Atlantis in the Bahamas. Like, okay, is this like the actual Atlantis or was it
like the water park?
Because if it's the resort, kind of like not great. But if it's like Disney's
Actual
Atlantis, Milo, then I'm on board with that. Anyway, you both tied. I'm gonna think of a tiebreaker question right now.
Should have
Give it to Chris. He's better.
Oh, Real Resort. Fun.
Okay.
Name for me one Disney cowboy. The first person to name a Disney cowboy gets all the points. Yes, Chris.
Pecos Bill.
I was going for Sheriff Woody, but you know what? I'm going to give you all the points for that.
Yeah.
Because his restaurant is delicious. Oh, I also missed it.
What does Pecos Bill look like?
He's like this.
Yeah, exactly. No. He's not really. He's just a name. He's not really a person.
I was about to say, no, that's not the character.
I think he's in Melody Time. He's in one of those. He's one of. I need to look it up now.
He probably is. He's probably in like the Three Caballeros or something like that.
Definitely not Three Caballeros because I know that movie.
Great movie.
Back of my hand, so good.
So Woody would have been an answer.
I'm trying to think of other Disney
Cowboys.
He is from.
My name's Woody. Howdy.
Okay, well,
there you go, Shark.
I found a picture.
Oh, that is him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was going to describe.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the one. So, Chris, you won your very first round of Great Movie Trivia.
Woo!
Congratulations. You know, I think so far our champion is Lauren, but his winning streak was broken last week. So you're right up there now on the champion board with him. Amazing.
Yeah, so we didn't have Lauren this week. What?
What's that? Oh, Lauren didn't do the Westerns because I think he was smart enough to know that they were 3 hours long.
Well, he did the other 2 movies with like the 1933s, like, hey, can have that. I'll do the Westerns. That's a fair trade for me.
Yeah, hey, it's just like the movie ride. You know, you either get Westerns or you get the monsters.
I couldn't get past Footlight Parade. I mean, the first 30 minutes of it, so.
Although I specifically said, wait till like it gets good in the last 45 minutes. You could have just skipped.
Yeah, I probably could have just done the whole show at the end and see what happens. Yeah.
The show at the end, you need no context for. The show at the end is just 3 like 20-minute short films with insane production value and like amazing aerial coverage, swimming, and then some casual racism, you know, because 1930s would kind of made me very uncomfortable, but the song was quite the bop, and I've kept on listening to it, and yeah, so it's a classic. It's a classic. Anyway, friends, we've hit almost an hour and 30 just talking about Cowboys. This was delightful. Any closing thoughts on Cowboys, the good, the bad, and the ugly, or, you know, Westerns?
Let's do more.
What, more Western?
Well, I think there's only 2 Western movies.
No, we did do the Muppets. Our Muppets.
Okay, yes, actually, let's do that. Let's recast this movie.
We're still going.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, there's more. It's gonna be 2 hours and 41 minutes of a live stream to make up for the amount of movie that we had to watch.
You mean if this movie if this live stream ended up being longer than the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Yeah. God. We can do it. We just have to
talk about.
Well, I'm up for the challenge. Okay, Muppets. Go. How would we recast this with Muppets?
Like I literally try to avoid putting Kermit the Frog as the main character of anything.
Fozzie is Tuco.
Oh yeah.
I think I'd actually like to see
I'd like to see Gonzo as Blondie and Rizzo as Tuco.
Ah,
yes.
It would be like Muppet Christmas Carol all over.
Yeah, because they're literally just back and forth banter the whole time.
I would have Sam the Eagle be the
Sam-
big union guy.
No,
Oh,
Sam the-
Self-explanatory.
No, Sam the Eagle would be the general who's the alcoholic general from the Union when they're fighting when they're down by the bridge.
Oh.
The captain, whatever he is.
Is that the
I
one?
think
That the big guy who like destroys Tuco? No, this is a different character.
No, I'm
who's-
thinking of like the big guy
the
that
colonel.
got killed by Tuco, which actually that might be Sweetums.
Dr.
Ooh,
Bunsen
maybe.
Honeydew can be the shopkeeper.
Oh yes, that's a given. And we need the one human. There always has to be one token human in a Muppet.
Should that just still be Clint? No, we already had him. Cas Blondie.
Mm-hmm.
I want. Oh, should I think of a fun character? I don't know.
The only major one we left that we haven't cast was Angel Eyes.
Yeah, but if Angel Eyes is a human, then his character is so like vicious to the other characters that it wouldn't be as much fun if he was the human with the Muppets. Like it would have to be Clint Eastwood, but I don't want to get rid of this pairing of Gonzo and Rizzo because that's genius.
Yeah, because we do the count as Angel Eyes.
Or we have Gonzo and Rizzo jointly playing like the Tuco-esque role with Clint Eastwood. So it's the two of them teaming up against Clint Eastwood, but then having to work together.
Or Gonzo thinks he's playing the role, but it's actually Clint Eastwood, so he keeps interjecting.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And
I think that would be more of a Rizzo move than Gonzo.
And the big Union dude that has Tuco chained to his hand could be Cookie Monster. Imagine the size difference. He's like just dragging, like Rizzo's just hanging there.
Well, that's why I was suggesting Sweetums, because he is the big Muppet.
Sweet. Oh wait, which one is Sweetums? The bear?
Sweetums is the one that comes out during Muppet Vision.
Oh, okay. Oh, then yes, absolutely, absolutely. So yes, I'm on board.
Yeah, we got to think of a thing for the Rolling to Orlando. Makes a good point. We got to think of something for Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah. Statler and Waldorf would be. I feel like they would be. Okay, no, I've got it.
No, they're the guys who are always doing. They're the guys who read off the crimes when Tuco's getting hung.
No. They are first with. They're first with the Union Army, and then when we meet the Confederates, they've joined up with them. So they're just constantly switching sides.
They just changed, but they're like a different character. They're just like playing multiple roles.
No, it's them.
No, same characters.
Same characters.
Switching their allegiances throughout the whole movie.
That'd be hilarious. We gotta put the Swedish Chef in there too.
Well, I think we could just do like what they did at Muppet Treasure Island. Is like, well, how else did you expect him to get in here? Just like,
how is he? Is he just the chef on the ship in Muppet Treasure Island?
No, it's like when they actually get to the island and like the natives there are all pigs. And
Yes.
Swedish Chef is there, and it's just Swedish Chef, but he has a pig snout on, and one of the Muppet heads of lettuce like turns to the camera and says, "Well, how else did you think we would get him in here?"
No, you could have Beaker can be the first priest, and then Swedish Chef is Tuco's brother. So you have you don't really know what's going on, but they're having a conversation, and Beaker's
They're having the really intense conversation about
Swedish Chef is speaking, but Rizzo understands him, but no one else understands him.
I think you need to act out that for us right now.
I can't do that.
Okay, I will.
No, that's wrong. And then
You went to be a priest. You left me alone. Oh yeah, it's easy for you to be so high and mighty. I've had enough of you. Then he
Wow, you were able to understand that?
Yeah. What?
Oh, who's Miss Piggy? Piggy's got to work her way in there somehow.
There wasn't a lot of female characters unless you think of the prostitute.
Piggy wouldn't do that. No, like when I think about great moments in history, how she just forces herself in as Queen Georgette. They're like, Piggy, there's no role for you. There is now.
Wait, did we ever cast anyone for Angel Eyes? Because she could be like, oh, Angel, that's me.
You're right.
Or,
You're right.
no,
Piggy is Angel
we
Eyes.
could leave Angel Eyes as a human character, but then Miss Piggy keeps showing up in like pink cowboy outfit on a Muppet horse, chasing after Angel Eyes, and he keeps having to actually escape from her. Like she ruins everything he tries to do.
Well, that's genius. Oh, who's what was the guy's name? Joe something? The one who has the gold?
Oh,
Bruce? No.
We can absolutely do Muppet trivia sometime, Mary Jo. That will, yes.
I love that.
I'm completely on board for that.
God, it's hang on. Bill Carson.
Bill Carson.
Yeah, there you go. Those are the B.
Like, what Muppet would have a really long, drawn-out death scene?
Bean Bunny.
Real old Joe. Real old Tom.
Yes. Dead Tom?
I think Bean Bunny, because he's always like over dramatic anyways.
Oh, but he's so cute.
That's the best part.
I think Bean Bunny needs to be Bean Bunny needs to be the guy. No, Bean Bunny needs to be the one who like gets hit by the train.
Oh.
No, but then
I think we should do Big Bird.
Over, he'll just like make a little bit of contact, and then he'll just go flying and be like, wee.
No, it makes like a squeak. It just goes squeak. It's like a little squeak.
Well, why is this a better movie?
Oh, you know who could be Angel Eyes though? Grover.
But are Sesame Street allowed to?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you can
Sesame
technically
Street
because they're
doesn't
Jim
really
Henson.
cross over that much with the Muppets.
Like it only happens at Christmas when the barrier between worlds is at its thinnest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go Ghost on Halloween rules.
Yes.
All right. So we have Gonzo and Rizzo.
Yeah.
Then we have Clint Eastwood still staying in.
Yeah.
And Gonzo thinks he's playing Clint Eastwood, but he hasn't been told that he didn't get the part.
Yeah.
Sweetums is the big Union soldier.
Yes.
And then we should make the other. Who's the other guy in the room? The other. No, that was
Angel
Angel
Eyes.
Eyes. Yeah, never mind. I was like, where can we put Animal in here?
Oh, he would be in the reason they don't do the torture scene is because he's in the band
while they're getting beat up. Yeah, that just
him.
be all of Dr. Teethany and the Electric Man.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, they're the band. Yes.
yeah, and they're just like more feeling, and then louder. Oh, Constantine. Mary Jo wants to know Constantine. Which one is Constantine?
Constantine. Who's Constantine?
Look it up.
In the movie?
I need to know who the Muppet is.
The Muppet is called Constantine.
Yeah.
John Constantine.
Oh, that's the evil Kermit.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
He could be.
this.
Hmm.
Kermit and Evil Kermit.
I mean, you could. I don't know. That throws a wrench in it. I still like Gonzo and Rizzo and.
Like Kermit, I think Kermit and then Constantine would have to just be town officials, like mayors.
Well, Kermit could actually be the director. He's kind of come on set to pull Miss Piggy off of Angel Eyes and to tell Gonzo that he doesn't have the role.
Okay, I can get on board with that.
So like the movie keeps having to pause and fill in, do other scenes of stuff. And then you could kind of add the other characters in as like changing the scenes or doing different things.
Yeah, it's very much like what Kermit actually is in the Muppet Show. It's
Pretty
like he's
much.
the one running the show.
Well, it's the Muppet Show, but they're doing Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah.
And then is it Clint Eastwood now? Or Clint
Yes.
Eastwood now?
Yes.
I feel like I want Clint Eastwood now. And then they have to work around the age.
I mean, they're all about the
Gonzo would be
same
stunt
age.
double.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
What was that?
Gonzo is the stunt double, but just really wants the actual role.
Yeah. Or no, that's the thing. Maybe Gonzo starts out as the Clint Eastwood character, but then Clint Eastwood himself shows up in like his 95-year-old glory and says, no, there's only one Blondie. And then
they have a squidding contest.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, they go back and forth.
It's a staring contest. That's
Gonzo's nose has to be really close to the screen.
That's the actual climax instead of the duel, because Muppets can be shooting each other. But yeah,
it's a staring contest.
The final duel is a 3-way staring contest.
But Gonzo's nose has to keep hitting the camera, like.
Oh, this is gold.
Get Disney on the line.
And like when Rizzo draws, he doesn't have a gun. He has like a slice of pizza.
Gonzo actually draws something.
Yeah. And then
Gonzo has a banana.
Oh. Apparently we kill the Hydes do Disney.
Well, and then when Tuco's in the shop making the gun, he's actually making a pizza. So he's like adding toppings onto his pizza and making a pizza instead.
Making garbage pizza.
Oh, jeez. What other parts? What other parts are there in this movie? The bridge. Blowing up the bridge. How do we make that Muppet?
I mean, there is a Muppet that is a demolitions expert, so that's not too far out of the realm. They literally blow up the theater in Muppet Vision 3D, so...
Oh, the best part.
Regular explosions is already pretty Muppets.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Because blowing up a bridge is, like you said, it's such a Muppet thing. But I feel like since that's already part of the movie, it needs to be more Muppet. I just don't know how or what. Or maybe they just take that little piece of actual history and then they blow it up without actually shooting it. And so we never actually see the bridge. We just see...
if we're going with Kermit as the director idea, we need to have a thing where, I can't remember the Muppet's name, but the one that is always blowing stuff up, is like, okay, guys, we're about to film the scene where we blow up the bridge. Boom! And you don't even see it. You just see the aftermath. And you see that one Muppet.
Yeah, he goes, yeah. They're not looking. And then it blows up, and then all of a sudden they turn around, the bridge is already blown up, he's running around like...
So we just never actually see the bridge.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, genius. We have fans. We're making it.
What about the scene? I don't know if you noticed in the scene where he's running into the graveyard.
Yeah.
But the graveyard should be open pizza boxes.
Yes.
Or he's like rolling around lifting up pizza boxes looking for a name.
Yeah.
So it's like in the back alley behind a pizza.
Yeah.
And then what is the gold actually gold?
No, it can't be gold.
I mean, it can. They did that in Muppet Treasure Island.
True.
No, it's all of Miss Piggy's jewelry. And she didn't know.
Yeah, you're right.
Also, then Miss Piggy can be the one who died. Because she would have the best death scene. And then she could just keep on trying to get her way back into the movie, and they'd be like, you're supposed to be dead.
It's like the one scene where Kermit is like, okay, Piggy, you could do this scene as the one where she gets shot. She would be on board with it because it's a dramatic death scene. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, the fans want us to do this more. This is
that's great. You can make her. She can have the death scene, and she dies, and then And then every new scene, she's trying to come back into the scene and die again. Like she keeps carrying on dying for the whole entire movie. Like she keeps, it's like always dramatic. She like falls into the scene, or like she's in the scene somewhere where she's still dying the whole entire movie.
Well, after that part, it's like there's not too much movie left. So
That's true.
It could be at that point where they're trying to deliver the line of, in this world there are two people, those who guns and those who dig. And during that pause of you dig is like,
Yeah. She's still dying.
Oh god, that reminds me of there's something where like that exact thing happens. Oh god, I can't remember it.
All I can think of was in Monty Python.
Not the Muppets, but it's like
I'm not dead yet, and but you're all dead, and they like
something
bring out your
similar
dead-
to that. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It'll come to you like the second that the stream ends, and then we'll
Pretty
log back.
much, yeah.
It's like Peter Griffin where he smashes his knee and he's like for like 45 minutes.
Still.
Oh no, Mike. You know what it's like? It's like at the beginning of the horror makeup show at Universal, where the makeup specialist comes out and they're like, they have the fake knife in them, and they're like, ah! They spend like 5 minutes dying.
I don't know actually.
I actually.
Okay, next time you go to Universal, you need to see the horror makeup show. Is the best show here. Period.
It is hilarious. It was so.
We were
funny.
there yesterday doing Velocicoaster. We were like, we did the Velocicoaster in Kong, and it was like 95 degrees out. Like, we're out.
No, but
was
see,
hot.
the makeup show is inside.
Yeah, but it was actually really busy there yesterday.
Next time you go, horror makeup show.
Okay, I do it by myself because Amanda's like horror.
Oh no, but it's comedy.
It's not.
She still won't like it though.
Horror is very much a comedy show.
Yeah,
it's like over dramatized.
When I went, they just spent the whole time making fun of cats.
You must have been very sad then. It must have been a horror for you.
No, I hate Cats. The movie.
Oh, I think about like cats, like real cats.
No.
Yeah, the best part of that movie is that like they have a script, but you could very much tell that they have free reign to just dick around.
Oh yeah, my favorite part was when she was roasting one of the kids in the audience and then said something like, "You know what? This isn't Disney. I don't have to be nice to you."
That is the best line.
Yeah, and
awesome.
That was my very first time at Universal, and it just to me summarized everything about the differences between the two parks.
Yeah, we've been a handful of times now. We haven't done half of the stuff, 90% of the stuff that we want to do, because it's been hot, and we were there with friends the first time, and we did what we wanted to do there them, and then we've been a couple times with Josiah, and now we went yesterday, and it's just hot now.
Oh, that's all the more reason. Go see the air conditioned.
The Shrek, watching a donkey was pretty fun, actually.
Awful movie. Yes, Cats is an awful movie.
I've never seen it. I've never seen the play.
I'm not saying that the Cats movie forever altered the course of history and set us down the darkest timeline, but
yeah, but
that is when things started going downhill.
Shrek the Musical, though, is fantastic.
Oh, Shrek the Musical is great.
Mm-hmm.
Shrek is great. Shrek is great anyways, but I love Shrek the Musical.
Shrek is love, Shrek is life.
Yeah.
Is that a thing people say?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a meme.
Oh.
It's actually a video.
Ooh.
On YouTube. It's very... I don't maybe on YouTube. I've seen it. It's very very disturbing video.
It's like, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go?
Literally down the rabbit hole.
The Shrek fandom.
Shrek fandom just kind of it confuses me because it seems to be like what memes were made out of. It's a whole culture.
What memes
are made of. Oh, Martha says the theater production of Cats is great. Accurate.
You know, I was never a big fan of Cats in general. Because it's just a battle of the bands where the winner gets to die.
You're not wrong. I don't like the makeup, but I like the music.
I mean, yeah, the music's really good. Because Andrew Lloyd Webber, how can it not be good?
And it's so much fun when you just start, like, quoting it and realizing how awful the lyrics are, and it's just a testament to how good the music itself is when it's like Jellicles can and Jellicles do, Jellicles do and Jellicles can.
What the hell is Jellicle?
So many unanswered questions. I have this theory about cats that they're not actually cats, but they're a bunch of people in a weird like suicide cult.
They're furries.
Yeah.
A furry suicide cult. Okay, maybe I need to rewatch this thing.
Oh wait, in the comments we want. Okay, now the people are demanding a Muppet production of Cats.
You guys are on
Okay.
your own. I know nothing.
I feel like Cats is too out there for even the Muppets. Piggy would be Grisabella, and she would just sing "Memory" the whole time.
No, like it gets to that point, and the Muppets doing Muppet things somehow cause the entire production to fall apart. She doesn't even get to do Memory.
Yeah, or no, they would just do dogs. They would just all come out dressed as dogs.
No, they all come out dressed as the same cat because they all think they're playing the same role. It's like going to trick or treating, and your friends all dress up the same. You guys are like, "What?" And it's like the whole Spider-Man scene. They're all pointing at each other. What do you want? Speaking of cats, be quiet. Yeah.
Best co-star.
This is Barney.
Cats.
Oh, let's see if I can get him. Come here, fatty.
This is
Oh my
us.
goodness.
Oh, look at that Jellicle.
Chunker.
He's actually not a chunker. He's just a
Jellicles
big.
and Jellicles do.
He's probably a 15-pound cat. He's a big boy.
That's a lot of cat.
He's a lot of cat. He's a lot of hair. It goes everywhere. He just sheds constantly. He's short haired too, which is weird. But he wants to go.
Cat.
He wants to go out. He's obnoxious.
He wants
He's
to go
very-
meow.
He's very chatty.
Chatty catty.
He's a lot to say.
Delightful. Because Jellicles are, and I'm singing cats.
Yep. So they're gonna.
Have we locked in this Muppet production of Good?
Yeah,
the Bad,
I'm good with
Like,
it.
Yeah,
Are we ready to pitch this to Disney?
absolutely. It's like, you guys aren't doing anything with the Muppets anyway. Let's go.
Exactly. Okay, so who has a connection? Is Mackenzie still here? Call Josh. Oh, no one gets the joke. Santa's just watching. She's not on screen. It was very funny. Trust me.
It's like I burned my bridges.
Jellicles can and Jellicles do. Jellicles do and Speaking of musicals and cowboys, how about Oklahoma?
I don't actually know enough about Oklahoma to really
I've never actually
comment.
watched Oklahoma. I don't know. I've got nothing. This whole thing has made me want to watch Oklahoma, however.
I was recently talking to someone at work that was from Oklahoma, and it's like it's apparently like something they're very prideful of, that musical.
That musical? Don't they like learn the Oklahoma song in school, almost like a national anthem?
I mean, I don't know about that, but they were very proud of it.
By the way, I was just looking up Muppet Wiki. There are 3,300 Muppet characters
No.
Sounds about right.
between
What?
Sesame Street, Muppet Show, Fraggle Rock, and other
Oh,
Muppet
okay.
productions.
So like that's counting like all the little like bugs in Labyrinth count as a character?
Yeah, all the bugs in Labyrinth, all the puppets from I would say Labyrinth. Those are going Dark Crystal,
Dark Crystal.
right?
Oh, the
Yeah.
Jesus for us Mises.
What else is Muppets? There's Fraggle Rock. Oh, Storyteller. Classic.
Dark
Highly
Crystal.
recommended. Dark Crystal.
Wait, Aladdin. There's an Aladdin Muppet too. That's kind of cool.
There's what now?
An Aladdin Muppet.
Like an Aladdin Muppet movie or a Muppet that's just
Just a
Aladdin?
Muppet Aladdin.
That's so strange.
Muppets came first.
Because Jellicles are. Have you watched clips of like the original Muppet Show when they have full out celebrities there singing their ballads with Muppet dancers behind them?
Oh, I've been watching some of the Muppet Show on Disney Plus.
Oh, it weirds me out too much that I can't. I don't know why. It like triggers some kind of primal fear in me, but it's fascinating.
Yeah, when they're just kind of like standing there is a little bit weird. But like there was one, I can't remember the name of the guy, but they were saying that's just a good old-fashioned love song, and like all the Muppets are like bouncing around playing their instruments. That one was a lot of fun.
No,
'Cause
the
that's
one
not
I'm
more
thinking of,
Muppets.
there's Don't Cry Out Loud, which has always been kind of a meme as far as I'm concerned. Because it's probably a movie I don't think anyone else has seen, but there's a film called Drop Dead Gorgeous. That's this really dark comedy parody about beauty pageants. And Don't Cry Out Loud is very prominently featured in a scene that's I shouldn't laugh at, but I do. And so ever since I've seen that movie, Don't Cry Out Loud has been a giant joke to me. And like they use it in Schitt's Creek as a joke. And there's one part in like there's a segment on the Muppet Show where they have the woman singing it. very seriously with ballet dancing clowns behind her, because there's one reference at the beginning of the song to a circus. And so she's singing this song all about not crying because her life is falling apart. And then there's dancing clowns behind her.
By the way, Bear in the Big Blue House was also Muppets.
Really?
The bear cha-cha-cha.
I forgot about that. I know that it was, but now that you see it, you're like, it's cool.
Oh, is Julie's Green Room technically Muppets?
It might be.
And did anyone else watch Julie's Green Room?
I've heard it. I've never actually seen it.
It is so good.
Oh yeah, with Julie Andrews. Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen a few episodes of that.
It's such a good show. Like, I watched it as a full adult because it only came out like a year or two ago. It is the Muppets at their best. Like, they're not Muppets, but you can feel the Muppetness. Yeah. Because every
they're not
episode,
Muppets.
They're not technically Muppets? But they feel like Muppets. Like Avenue Q, kind of like Muppets, but not.
God, I love Avenue Q.
I gotta watch that.
I was almost in that show.
Were you?
I've seen.
Yeah, I auditioned for it.
You're gonna be Brian or Trekkie? I feel like I would catch you as Brian or Trekkie Monster.
I think it was Brian. No, Brian's like the human, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened was I auditioned and initially didn't get the part. But then they called me up like a week later. It was like, hey, can you come down to the theater? We actually might use you as Brian. It's like, all right, cool.
Nice.
And then I show up at the theater. It's like, oh, we actually called someone else and they filled it. It's like,
Well, I'm here,
did they get there before you? Like, what was that?
I don't know. But I would absolutely love to be in Avenue Q.
So, Matt, just so you're aware, Julie's Green Room is produced by the Jim Henson Company, therefore making them Muppets.
Good. Yeah, I can tell the quality is there.
Yeah, they're created by the Jim Henson Creature Shop.
I love the Jim Henson Creature Shop. They make the best puppets.
I follow a guy on Facebook, Jared's Puppets, and he's got some really amazing puppets. He's from, I think, the UK or for Australia, and his puppets are amazing. And then I followed up
Muppet style.
Yeah, they're Muppet style puppets. Yeah, they're amazing.
Julie is canon. Yeah, so Julie is now kind of an unofficial Muppet as far as we're all concerned. Julie Andrews.
So she'd be a Juppet?
Yes. Yep, that's the best combo.
Julie Andrews, she could play Mary Poppins, a Muppet, and a kaiju. What can she do?
Wow.
Julie Andrews with Muppets, that's all I've ever wanted. And that show gave it to me, which was so happy. Plus, with all the original Avenue Q actors, which is another reason to love that show. Our friends do word. Oh yeah, do we have anything else to say about Cowboys?
Yeah, we kind of lost
we got real off track there.
we made our Muppet movie, and they were like, yeah, let's squirrel off of this one and do something totally different.
So Cowboys. What's everyone's favorite attraction in Frontierland?
Big Thunder.
Big Thunder, yeah.
Oh, I was going to say Country Bears, but I forgot Big Thunder's technically there too, so I have to go with Big Thunder. Is Splash Mountain? Splash Mountain is kind of...
Splash Mountain is Frontierland.
Right. I had
Except in Disneyland, where it's Critter Country.
I had a great photo shoot with Liver Lips the other day, actually.
Yeah?
He was hilarious, and I had a regular camera I got right here, and I was just like snap pictures like, oh, you're beautiful, work it. He's just like like the I just went for like 50 different pictures of him. It's actually hilarious. I think Amanda filmed it too because she's standing behind me with a camera, like just videotaping it. But they were actually
not as short yet.
I love that my
we're trying to get there. I got so many videos I'm working on right now. I think I have like 9 or 10 that we've put together so far that I gotta edit still.
I love that my Great Movie Ride cowboy friend would sing Blood on the Saddle when he was walking up to grab the gem. That was funny for me.
Did he really?
I mentioned that in my video.
You did?
And also, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this. I only noticed it semi-recently because I was sitting on that side of the theater. But you know when Big Al comes out the second time to do his song, and Henry goes like right into the finale. If you listen closely, You can still hear Big Al singing Blood on the Saddle underneath everything. Like, you have to be sitting on that side of the theater, but you can still hear him going, which I think is absolutely hilarious.
See, this is one more reason to love the Country Bears.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that plus the talking animal heads. That won me over.
Yep.
Yeah, because I worked at a dinner theater in Niagara Falls that exists no longer, but there was a giant mounted moose head right at the on top of the stage, and the moose head was the logo for the theater, and everyone would say it should talk. And then when I finally went to Disney, I went to Country Bears, it all made sense as to why there were these American tourists who were craving a talking moose head trophy.
Those guys are still at Disneyland too.
Oh, really?
Oh, you don't know this? Yeah. The Winnie the Pooh ride replaced Country Bear Jamboree at Disneyland.
Yeah. And
in the Hufflepuff and Woozles room, if you look backward as soon as you get there, you can still see the three heads staring into eternity.
That's awesome.
That's terrible. That reminds me of that episode of Black Mirror where the woman is trapped inside the bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's their life now.
Staring forward into eternity. Wow.
Done.
See.
First, say hello, and it stopped. Everyone stopped for a second. First, hello.
Hello.
Hello there.
So anyone got anything else to say about Cowboys?
No, I think 2 hours is good length.
Yeah, we didn't get the movie record, but that's fine.
I know we didn't hit it, but
we got the length of the squinting down at least.
Yes, exactly. Oh wait, I think we should just all get really close and do some squinting just so we have the footage.
I got it.
I'm gonna edit this together, so just look into your camera a little bit.
I'm gonna look different directions.
Very good. And with that,
great video content.
This concludes the longest Great Movie Ride live show thus far. Time well spent discussing the movie, the Muppets, and some squinting for good measure. So thank you, friends, for joining us. Any closing thoughts before we close out, either on the movie or just use this as your opportunity to tell us about your channel, why we should subscribe if we haven't, and what we can look forward to seeing from your channel next. I'm not going to choose who goes. Whoever shoots first, shoots first.
Velocicoaster just opened up to annual pass holders. We just went there last night, dropped a video. It's only 4 minutes long, so you can get through it really quickly. Jump in. It's really cool. A lot of fun. We got a bunch more stuff coming out at Universal, as well as Disney, as well as other places. We don't know. There's some big, exciting changes coming. We're getting there, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Disney. There we go. Oh, gone.
All right. So, what I got planned for my channel, at least for the next couple of weeks, is one, I am finally going to be able to do a video I have been wanting to do since the beginning of my channel, but I've not been able to do because it's been closed down. I'm finally going to be talking about the People Mover. Yes, so that's coming up soon. And also, more importantly, and possibly more hilariously, I am planning on going drinking around the world for my birthday and recording it. And so, drunk shenanigans at Epcot, that's going to be me. And part of it is going to be, I'm going to try to do like a drunk history kind of thing where it's like each pavilion, get a drink, is like, here's something cool about it, guys. You won't believe this.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes. But anyway, I'm Christopher Orlando, and take care, y'all. One love, don't hurt nobody.
And hello, and yes, of course, my name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees. You're watching this on my channel. If you're not subscribed, if all 5 of you who are watching haven't subscribed, please do so. And also make sure that you subscribe to the Hyde to Disney and Chris from Orlando for more fun and games about all the things that they just talked about. I'm going to keep doing trucking through with the Great Movie Ride here on this channel for the next few weeks. Next week for the Searchers, we're going to put a pause on the live streams because we already kind of talked about Westerns. As much as anyone wants to talk about Westerns, for this evening. But we're going to return with the live show in 2 weeks' time for Alien, where I could talk about how severely disturbed I was, but how happy I was that the cat did not die. And otherwise, keep an eye out for miscellaneous videos about Funkos or whatever Disney things I feel like talking about. But for now, my name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees, and this has been the Teacup for One. Go away. How do I end?